To discover the framework, the general framework, historical framework that drive to the actual regulation in data personal law. What I would say first, it's kind of something general. You know that the technological advancements have brought major transformation of our world. The oldest among us knows that the transformation from the digital revolution has changed our use, has changed everything we can do, and has changed, in fact, our life and our lives. And the question is that the digital revolution has an ambivalent effect of exercise of fundamental rights. And this is, you have to understand what is the ambivalent effect about fundamental rights.
Professor, do you have a slide on?
Yeah, I can. Sorry?
Do you have a slide?
No, I don't have slide. Maybe after the course, but not this time. First of the ambivalent effect. The digital revolutions as catalyzes and amplifies the exercise of rights. Some rights that exist in the world, and some rights that exist in the material world exist too in the digital world, and that change. That is an important effect. And as an example, freedom, liberty, freedom speech, free speech. Free speech is very different now with the internet and with the digital revolution. And secondly, the second and ambivalent effect is the digital revolution simultaneously give rise and give some risk for certain fundamental rights. I want to say that the right of privacy, at first, the right of privacy is totally modified by the digital revolutions. Before, in the material world, privacy is easy to protect. You close your window, you close your wallet, and it's over. And or you go back and you say, no, I don't want to be taking pictures. No, everybody knows that with the digital revolutions, the transformation, the protection of the private life has totally changed, because, in fact, it's difficult to control all the uses of our privacy, because privacy is not only what we are looking, it's not only our face, it's our meaning, it's our searching on the internet, and there is many things that reveals our privacy. There is some direct things that reveals our privacy, and there is some indirect things that reveals our privacy. And this is the big problems, the big questions that revolution asks, and that revolution digital asks to us, because the right to privacy is really affected by the digital revolution. And we are in a situation that we reveal information about us unconsciously during our research, during our profile on the social media, by example, and we give some information maybe without wanting to give it. And this kind make some profile of each one, of everyone, some profile that give more information about us than we wanted to reveal. And this is the principal question that is asking for the digital revolution. So, in the same times, the emergence of rights and freedoms, of course, the emergence of rights and freedoms in digital spaces began by the protection of the personal data. At this time, in 2025, we can see behind us to see what is the first protection of rights and liberties. And we look behind us, we can see that the first rights protected in the digital world is the data, the protection of personal data. So we can say that it's very singular to see that this first rights is a special rights of digital way. So it's very special and very, I'll say, it's very special. And now we can say that this is the basis of the protection of our privacy. And it's very important to understand that because all the rights and freedoms in digital world are not such protected as personal data. This is the most important protected. So, when we look the world we live in now, in the digital world, that we see that the risk of data extraction is daily realities. Daily realities on social media, of course, and some uses particular as cookies, the thing that we call cookies. It's not very good to eat, in fact, because the cookies reveal what we want it to be, what we are, and they are following us on the internet connection. And there is, of course, the problem of hacking of the pirates that try to catch information about us for the cyber criminal activities. So the problem, in fact, is the danger is everywhere in the digital revolution society. The danger is everywhere, and we have to try to protect in several ways our privacy. How do that? Maybe we do that with the hours of the course we see. How do that? But it's very difficult to give some precision report, some answer in each time. That we can say that there is not only the attack, of course, the attack of pirates. There is too the reveals of information during trade, during our buy on the internet, during our electronic commerce trade, electronic trade, and there is some information like information of pay, information of bank, information, several information that can be given during, as an example, as a buy. And everything can be protected, must be protected, because it reveals too much information. We can say too information about our health. When we go to the hospital, when you go to a doctor, you can give some information, but this information must be protected, of course. So the scope of the protection information is very large, and the difficulty is to give only one regulation for all kinds of danger. And this is the difficulty to try a framework can be applied to all the kind of data personnel. And if it's not, there is other problems. The other problems is that today data personnel is too exposed during political sessions. The example that I can give is Cambridge Analytica scandal. You know what it is? Cambridge Analytica? Cambridge Analytica is a kind of profile from the electors during the first election of Donald Trump in 2016. In 2016, because in the United States it's possible to say what each elector thinks, and with some programs, some informatics, some in logical, they try to give information on what each elector votes. And with this situation, it was easy to know a map of the electors, and the electoral campaign was based on the result of the algorithmic analysis of the campaign of the electors. And it was said that this influenced the result of election. And we had the same thing later in 2018 in Great Britain, when Great Britain quit on the referendum, on the vote about the quit of the European Union. And it was said that some algorithm work will change the results that can be expected by the election. So this is another problem because this is based about our comportment and our privacy in the scope of electoral campaign. So it's dangerous, of course, because it's dangerous for the democracy. Though some scandal, as Cambridge Analytica affair that I said, exposed the use of personal data for political purpose. Alors, all the questions that have been asked by these all problems, all the equations show that the regulation of personal data is a very important thing. And what I want to explore in this course, I want to explore the regulation in three perspectives that you will find in my development. The three perspectives I want to see it first. This is the technological perspective, of course. The technological perspective to understand the challenge of protection in the face of various technology, because the question of personal data is confronted, is just in front of numerous technology of internet, technology biometric, geolocalizations, and others. And of course, EA, maybe we try to talk a little bit of EA at a moment of the course. This is the first perspective, technological perspective. The second perspective is an economic perspective, of course. And this economic perspective, and that is under listen to data valuation and big data, this perspective is very important because, as we'll see, the European regulation is based on economic perspective. So I will explain it in a few moments how it is built to understand that. And of course, the third perspective is a political perspective. A political perspective, why? Because the stark contrast between European, because I'm talking about European regulation, the stark contrast between European data protection and American tech giants like GAFA, like Google, Amazon, Facebook, Meta, and Apple as an example. the spark contract between those American data protection and American tech giants like European and the democracy stakes of protecting personal data. So this is a real difficulty that can resume in one question. Does the GAFA has the power, as the GAFA has the power now against us, against our rights and our liberty? So, and it's not easy because when you are on internet, you are subject of the big industry of internet, American, Chinese, and other big industry of internet. Because, as I said, we don't have other providers that the big ones of these two big countries. So there is a political perspective that we can't ignore. So this introduction and all the course will be built on the three perspectives that I mixed in my course. And first, for this introduction, I propose you to separate two questions. And first, section one. Section one, the first question is the question of technology and the data economy. Technology and the data economy. And after, in a second section, I will study the protection, in section 2, the protection of personal data. So in section 1, the question of technology and the data economy will be divided, will be separated in three points. First points, this is the points of technology and digital data. Second points is data and the digital economy. And the third points concern the diversity of digital data frameworks. Yes, of course, I will do it. Sure. The first point is about technology and digital data. The second one is about data and digital economy. And the third will be the diversity of digital data frameworks. So the first point about technology and digital data, the question that we ask is, what is data? What is digital data? I am not a scientist, of course, but I am not informatician. So maybe you can find some things in the text, in the European text. I can say first, in the strictly technical perspective, only strictly technical perspective, digital data is a sequence of characters and numbers that constitute a representation of an object. Okay. Easily done that. So, data is a digital alphanumeric information. It's an alphanumeric information encoded, readable only by the machine. As an example, an IP address with alphanumeric information. It's unreadable alone, of course. So readable only by the machine. This is the first thing. And digital data is stored by a computer system. Digital data is stored by a computer system for many use. Recording, processing, preservation, and communication, of course. Recording, processing, preservation, and communication. That you have to know that GDPR don't give definition of the data. It's something strange, because GDPR is the data object, as data object. But it was not in the text, it was not in the regulation. We waited only to 2022, 3 years ago, 3 years time. So we just waited 2022 in another regulation, in the regulation called European Data Governance Act. European Data Governance Act, the DJA, European Data Governance Act. And in this text, we have a very large definition of data. For this text, the data is any digital representation of acts, facts, or information, or any compilation of such acts, facts. So I repeat, any digital representation of acts, facts, or information, or any compilation of such acts, facts, or information, including different forms as sound, visual, or audio-visual recording. As you see, it's a definition for lawyers. It's not too technical. It's a definition for lawyers because why? Why we don't have technical, really very technical definitions? Because the goal to have such a definition like that is to have a definition can be useful for the different uses of data. It's operational for the using of data. We don't look for some technical definition for technical definition. Yes, you have great.
Yes, sorry for interrupt you. I just want clarification one question regarding the definition of the digital data or personal data. In various countries, they give the definition and use the term is differentiated.
Yeah.
For example, some country or developing country, they use the personal information, personal data, privacy data, and EU use the personal data. And Cambodia also use the personal data. So, like China and some many countries like Japan or Korea, they use the information and personal data. So, how do they? What is the perspective?
Difficult to give you an only answer. I want to say that I think that you have to think by system. Chinese system, European system, American system. And finally, the basis of the creation of what is personal data is depend on the creation of what is privacy in each system. In China, they don't have the same concept of privacy as us in Europe. In America, in the United States, they don't have the same definitions. Because, as an example, I will be back on this question later, but in America, they think that personal data is a right, is a property right. And that's why, for Americans people, you can trade about personal data. For us in Europe, this is not the case. It's a personal right. So you don't have to trade, in principle. You don't have to trade about your personal data and your privacy. You can sell. You can't sell your privacy. But in America, it's possible. And you can see two system difference. In the Chinese system, the privacy is different because the security of the state is more important than the privacy. So this allowed the state to go further in your own privacy if to verify there is no problem about the state security. So in fact, it's very difficult to have only one answer to your question because this is important. And so for us in European Union, we think that personal data is many things. I will go on this question, of course, in a few minutes. It's many things that reveal the privacy, the large conception of privacy. It's, okay, right. But as an example, first, when the